Good evening and welcome to RLTV. My name is Jonathan Orchard. The Bachelorette Australia started this week and Sam Frost, an ex-Bachelor Australia contestant, returns to television for a second go at a dating series. Sam starts off the show by giving a heartfelt confession about how difficult it was for her to overcome what happened and to return to the series. She's looking very good. She's a very likeable person, very funny and very quick-witted. You have to have this feeling in the back of your mind that a certain someone out there is looking at her and second-guessing their decision, if only for a moment. The limos start arriving and all the contestants start stepping out. The first out is Dave, 30-year-old plumber, who speaks to Sam, perhaps a bit nervous, but forgets to tell her how good she looks, and halfway through the conversation, she's the first one to mention that. Bit of a faux pas from Dave there. We've got Alex, the bald guy with a beard, Englishman, and the guys give him a ribbon because of his accent, saying he's going to charm her. Come on now, chaps. Just because he's got an English accent doesn't make him any more charming.
Yes it does.
Alex pulls off a thoughtful move by bringing Sam some foldable flats. Every woman loves it when you appreciate the fact that they have a difficult time walking in heels and it hurts their feet, so that's a good bonus point. Alex he keeps his cards close to his chest. He's quite reserved, so a bit of a dark horse maybe. We'll see how that goes. One of the youngest on the show is Davey Nipple Rash. You should never really say that the first time you meet a woman. I'm sure he realises his mistake. He's one of the youngest and it does quite show, but I think there's some potential there and we'll see how that goes as well. Of all the contestants that arrived, Sasha stood out for me. He was the first one to emphatically tell Sam how beautiful she looked. Gents, take note, that is absolutely the first thing that you mention when a woman has taken the time and effort to look good for you. Let her know how beautiful she is. Obviously, you know, say it whenever you feel like it, but definitely when she's took the time and effort to look good for you. Sasha's making a huge impact on Sam, and when he's not prancing around in a wetsuit, you know, like making a meal up a small little jump, watch him around her because he's very gentlemanly, he's very confident, and he's very considerate of Sam. The producers are kind of pushing this agenda, but for me, he's definitely one of the favourites. Then we've got Drew, and this guy I was looking forward to seeing most. He kind of goes a bit overboard and brings a frigging bird to meet Sam, who then proceeds to excite half of Twitter with a Harry Potter reference. Drew pulls a letter out of the owl's foot and then reads this really cheesy love quote, and it's proper corny. So he's trying probably a bit too much, and he's over the course of the 2 episodes he's falling pretty hard. I mean, the last time someone fell this hard, it was a world record. Drew will do anything for love, except jump in the water. He won't do that. I mean, seriously, how do you win a date for the best jump by not jumping? Still don't know what a sleep technician does. A guy called Will turns up, and I feel like he got friend zoned within the first 30 seconds of the show. Women never tell you they love you that quick unless A, you're their best friend, and B, you're like some famous singer. But this like Mozart looking guy, he's very eccentric and he's very funny, so hopefully keep him around because he's definitely entertaining to watch. Michael is the Socceroos player that apparently never was. He talks to Sam as though he's conducting an interview and relies heavily on some sports sayings, referring to the other contestants with personal attributes, and talking about the team that is his future family. Because of his cold exterior, Michael is dubbed the Iceman by the other contestants, and Michael tells Sam that he doesn't like that because he doesn't like ice. Because it's cold. And it makes my scotch all watery. He doesn't actually say that, but with such a deadpan expression, I can't help but feel like he means literally rather than metaphorically. So exaggerating his career aside, Michael, it feels like he's in his shell and he could pop out, but as it stands, he is as stiff as a coat rack and needs to loosen up. Shane, what can I say, mate? You know, I think it's totally rare that you turn up all chill, carefree, you know, man, be who you want to be. But you're under arrest, mate. You're turning up to what is effectively a ball. You've got a woman standing there in her, you know, looking beautiful in her red dress. I think it would have been actually pretty cool if you arrived in your suit whilst on the skateboard, but, you know, not in the beach reds. The signs were there as Shane was looking around nervously at the diminishing group of guys behind him, you know, standing there looking like he could be a third brother in Step Brothers 2. Shane was definitely going, and all the lads, you know, felt it as well as they all hunkered in and, you know, showed their support for the two guys that were leaving. It's a real bromance going on. Oh yeah, and some guy called Luke left as well. It was this point that Nina said to me, all sad, and she goes, "Oh, he was so nice and he was really lovely about it. It was like when I was watching The Bachelor, they were all bitches or deserved it. But I feel like in this show, like all of the guys that go, I'm going to feel really sad about it. You know, except for one. Ah, David. There's always got to be one you love to hate, isn't there? The man who thinks about thinking too much and isn't confrontatious. So maybe you should stop thinking too much. And that's because he is probably the most confrontational person I've seen on these shows, with the exception of X on the Beach. There's a running theme throughout the episodes, and that is the bro code. Bro code is essentially a cool way of these guys saying, you know, let's have some manners. So that means being respectful and being polite, and, you know, David had none of that, and Sam was having none of that. One saying that stands out to mind is, if you can't say anything good, then don't say anything at all. No one can know what David was expecting to gain from the way he spoke to Sam, but there's one thing for certain, and that is not how you woo a lady, and it's definitely not how you accept defeat with grace. I'll be honest, I was half expecting Kane or Kieran to leave, because they weren't really doing anything throughout the whole show. But it was nice to see that, you know, The Bachelorette has bucked that trend of keeping a dickhead on the show just for the sake of entertainment value, unlike some popular Australian cooking shows. So I haven't watched The Bachelorette before, or The Bachelor, and the reason I want to watch this show is trying to get an idea of how these guys romance The Bachelorette, but it's actually turned out to be quite an entertaining show. So if you're having doubts about watching it, I thoroughly recommend it. It's quite entertaining, and you can learn from these guys on how they romance her and how these shows do dates. You know, there's always little bits that you can take away from that. One thing that I think we can all agree on is that The Bachelor and The Bachelorette know how to do dates. Here at Romance Lives, we love it when there's a romantic experience, and these guys definitely know how to pull that off. You've got all these wonderful backdrops, you know, like a couch in the middle of nowhere, some beautiful lights. Unfortunately, not all of us are going to have access to a major city cricket ground, but there's definitely some points that we can take away from that. And we'll be bringing you a video in the future that shows you how to put together a wonderfully romantic picnic. So tune in for that one when it comes. Well, that's it from me today. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to comment on the video and let us know who you think is going to win Bachelorette Australia. Subscribe to our channel so you can catch the latest episode of RLTV as soon as it's released. Have fun and see you soon.